So, for those of you paying attention what's been going on in these recent trade talks, the Brexiteers are all of a sudden very happy about Japan. However, if you actually take a look at these trade talks, what Japan has basically said is this is the trade deal, sign it, or else you're not getting anything else. And has pretty much just underscored Britain's new position in the world, that we aren't nothing, that we aren't this trade power that the Brexiteers kept on claiming that we were. So we turn to an exact article covering exactly this. UK-Japan trade deal, sign it or else, from Zello Street. Our government of happy Brexiteers has received good and bad news this week. The good news is that a new, proud, independent and sovereign UK has a trade deal with Japan ready to go. The bad news is that it just underscores the UK's lesser status as a former EU member state. It's not a good deal as the EU-Japan one we would have had if we remained in the EU, and it's the Japanese who are dictating the terms. How different it all was earlier this year. In February, the Mail told its readers British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab and his Japanese counterpart agreed Saturday to seek an ambitious, high-standard trade deal accord matching Japan's agreement with the European Union. No one need worry. We would just do as well outside the EU. And last month, Murdoch's Sun announced that trade talks with Japan will begin within just days after the UK published its negotiating objectives tonight. Trade Secretary Liz Truss said that that Britain's textiles, clothing, professional and financial services will be the biggest winners in a bumper-free trade deal with Japan. Brexit? No problem. But now grim reality has arrived, as it always does with Brexit. As The Independent has reported, Japan has given Japan has given Britain just 6 weeks to sign up to a post-Brexit trade deal or face disruption to its imports and exports. Sign up by the end of July, take it or leave it. And there was more. In the latest sign of the swashbuckling drive to sign deals with countries around the world, is proving less than straightforward. The UK loses favourable access to Japanese markets it enjoyed as part of its EU membership if no agreement is signed. UK negotiators also face the prospect of being bounced into a deal on unfavourable terms as countries like Japan seek to use the reopening of talks to gain further concessions against the UK. And the deal will not be as good as the EU-Japan one. Like some other countries the EU has trade deals with, Japan has declined to simply roll over its existing agreement for the UK after Brexit and has insisted that it reopens talks. And the reason for this haste, you may ask? Well, Japanese negotiators this week piled extra pressure on Boris Johnson by accelerating the schedule for a deal, citing a lack of time in their parliamentary calendar. As their tutor, known as Irish Monk, has put it, it is rather the EU GPN deal, with good bits for the UK completely stripped out. Liz Truss and Raab are in trouble here. Japan doesn't say 6 weeks and then not mean it. They are deeply hurt by disingenuous behaviour and the dislike being misled, as they have been by the British government. They remain at all times pragmatic. They see a weak UK. They see a UK Japan as a minor deal if the UK is no longer a gateway to Europe. Moreover, Japan has become increasingly exasperated with the British government playing games and has referred back to its earlier and most concisive massive, much as the EU finds consistency having to refer back to UK promises in the political declaration, which means that what Japan is imposing on the UK now, the EU will do very much the same thing. We would, so the propaganda would want us to believe, be free to strike whatever trade deals we like on our own terms. The reality is that we are only free to be told to bend over and sign on the dotted line, or else. It will be the same with the USA too. That's our newfound freedom. You can believe the continual liars like Bojo, and you end up getting screwed. Absolutely no change there then. And that's what we've been telling people from the very start of this whole thing. Lots of Brexiteers, and I when I say Brexiteers, I don't mean Brexit supporters. I class them in a completely different class altogether. But Brexiteers have been absolutely championing this as this is something to celebrate. In absolutely no way is this something to celebrate. This is a trade deal with a country halfway around the world that knows that the UK leaving the EU makes it completely weak, and thus has basically taken complete advantage of us. And there is no way that we can have any leverage to try and win something back from it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the sovereignty that you all pined for. The Brexiteer supporters would come on and say, oh, it's all about... And as time and time again, I always refer back to these comments, and they're pretty much written in gold from the past videos I've done about Brexit. It's literally just been when you talk to someone about trade, about how we're going to get screwed, because apparently Brexit was all about trade, all of a sudden it says, no, it's about sovereignty. Oh, well, okay, well, actually in a trade deal, if you look at all the other trade deals around the world, it's about giving up sovereignty to get these trade deals. I'll go, oh, no, it's not about that at all. It's about something else completely different. Because Brexit supporters have been lied to by the Brexiteers completely, and they have been conned left, right and centre. Remember, Brexit was meant to make these people's lives better. Hence why today there was a study done, and it showed that it was lower income people that won Boris Johnson's majority at the moment and the Conservative victory in the last election. These are the people who they promised Brexit would somehow make their lives better. In no way is this going to make people's lives better. We've already seen the fact that most likely the Nissan plant will just close down and just move to Europe. And I can foresee that happening now, and I just wonder what the reaction is from the Brexiteers are going to try and spin it as something, and Brexit supporters who are going to be the ones really hit by this, because they will probably lose their jobs, because not only at the plant but other businesses that surround that and have do business with the plant itself or involved with the plant, those jobs will go as well, and that'll be it. But you were warned, you were told, and you believed the lies. And more importantly, you believed the lies of, quote, don't trust experts because Britain's had enough of experts. Well, all these experts pretty much turning out to be completely 100% on the money on this.